Good morning everyone, today we're going to be fully augmenting our new armors as well as our new weapon. However, there is a twist. Instead of using the best of the best augments, I'm going to be using LC capsules so it's a little bit more relatable, and I'm going to compare it with my current best in slot gear to see what is the difference. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to showcase is my current gear that I'm using right now. It is still the Octo Armor Argas. As you can see, they are all plus 80 and they all have best in slot augments. Now I don't have the Lux Health Finales. However, I decided to use that on a different piece of armor. Hopefully the purple ones when they do come out. So for now, I'm just going to be using the Elena armors and I'm just going to be filling them up with regular LC capsules. However, before I can do that, I do need to get my last piece of Elena armor to plus 80 so that I unlock all 6 augment slots. And then on top of that, I am also going to be maxing out my Rayar Katana as well to plus 80, as well as filling up all the augment slots with LC capsules as well. And then we will compare the potency between my current gear, which actually gives me, I think, 161% potency, as you can see right here. We're going to compare this with if I were to use the new armors and the new weapons with all LC capsules, because that's a little bit more accessible and more relatable to the majority of the player base. Now, as for what LC capsules I'm going to be using, I'm simply going to use Gladius Soul LC, I'm going to use High El Domina LC, Gigas Maste LC, Hal Finale LC, as well as Grand Dread Keeper LC. So that is a total of 5 different augments, and then for the last augment slot, I will be using Spirit Trippable. Now, if you don't have Spirit Trippable or you don't want to use this, there is an easier alternative, and that is simply Stat 4. So for example, if we were to use Might 4 over here, this also gives you 3% potency, so it's the exact same amount as the Spirit Trippable. The only difference is Spirit Trippable gives you an additional 5 photon power versus the Might 4 or the Stat 4s just give you raw potency, and that's it. All right, so depending on where you are in the game and whether if you have any of these trippable capsules or not, you can just use Stat 4 or you can opt for the trippable capsules. So these are the augments I'm going to be using on all of my weapons as well as my armors, the exact same augments right here. So we're simply going to put these in, we're going to put it in this order and say a fixed augment, and then we're going to pop in a 20% booster, click yes, and wabam. All right, so that is our first piece of armor completed right here. As you can see, our first Elena armor. It now gives us 100 HP, 25 photon power, as well as 26.5% all potency. So let us actually compare that with our current armor. As you can see, my Octo Armor Arga does give me 5 more HP, however 4 less PP. However, it does give me a little bit more potency, actually 2% more potency for range as well as melee, simply because these augments are all best in slot augments versus my Elena armor over here, which are full LC capsules. 2% potency difference, but the cost for these 2 different armors are staggering. In order to get all of the endgame capsules, you are spending a significantly more money versus if you just put the LC capsules. So I do recommend people to start off with just the LC capsules and just use these armors for now with these augments. Now, of course, you don't have to use Spirit Trippable. It's just 5 extra photon power, and it does cost a lot more than just your regular Stat 4s. So you can just replace that with Stat 4 and you'll still get the same amount of potency. You'll just get 20 photon power instead of 25 photon power. That is literally the only difference. However, with that being said, we are going to blast through the rest of our armors over here, and then we're also going to be doing our weapon. So I'll see you guys in a bit. And after spending almost 5 million Meseta, we finally managed to get all of our weapons to enhancement level 80, as well as all of our armors. So last but not least, we just need to plug in all of these LC capsules as well as the Spirit Trippables on every single piece of gear. So I'm going to do that right now. And there we go. We now have our Elena armors with all of the same augments. As you can see, all 3 pieces, as well as enhancement level 80. If we look at our Rayar Katana, it's also the exact same augments, also at plus 80, and weapon potential fully unlocked. But now it is time for the moment of truth. Let us equip our armors over here and let us see the difference. So as you can see, when we equip our Elena armors, we actually get 4 more PP, we get 1 more defense, 1.3% more damage adjustment. However, we do lose a little bit of potency. As you can see over here, we will be losing 4.4% range as well as melee potency, but we do get 6.3% more technique potency because the current gear that I'm using on the Elena armors gives me 26.5% all potencies versus my Octo Armor Arga, which is specifically made for range as well as melee potency. Alright, so we are losing a little bit of potency. However, again, I want to reiterate that these armors, the Octo armors, are using the full min-max endgame augments versus the Elena armors over here, which are using full LC capsules, which are super cheap and very accessible for the average player. So, you know, just keep that in mind. So we're going to equip all of our armors over here, and the next thing is we are also going to be changing our weapon over here. So instead of using a Flugelguard weapon, we are going to be changing to the Rayar weapon. As you can see, we do gain 4 more attack as well as 5 more photon power. However, we do lose even more potency over here of 5.3%, and we also lose some damage adjustment. However, the reason for that is because if you look at my Flugelguard katana, it's got an XD parfait, it's got all of the really min-maxy stuff versus our Rayar katana, which is just full LC capsules. So let me just equip that. And now with all of the new armors as well as new weapons with the LC capsules, we are at 4075 battle power. When we go to personal and character information over here, you can see that my potency is 143.3%. This is not that impressive, to be honest with you guys. However, do keep in mind that all of this is LC capsules, which is accessible to everyone. And our damage adjustment is actually pretty good at 65.7%. We got 237 photon power and 1266 HP. So overall, it's decent. This is definitely passable, and this is like the average type of player. Most casual players should be able to achieve this relatively easily. And on top of that, we also get 48.8% cold resistance. So when you're in the gorge area, a lot of the enemies are going to be dealing cold damage to you. You've probably seen it for yourself when you're fighting the ancient mob. He does a giant AoE, you get frozen in place and you can't do anything and you just die. So by having this extra cold resistance will prevent you from being frozen. Now, it doesn't give you immunity to the cold, however, it will make it less likely that you get frozen, so this is definitely very nice to have. Now, the harsh environment resistance, this is the thing that actually makes you immune to the cold damage in the gorge area. However, this 60% was not obtained from gear. As you can see, I gained 30% from the food buff in Kavaris because I ate a bunch of Kavaris foods, and then on top of that, you also get an additional 30% from all of the different mags. So you want to make sure that all the region mags in Kavaris is fed so that you get this additional 30%. So you get a total of 60% harsh environmental resistance. However, since Sega gave us 100 of these low temperature damage resistance 100%, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You can simply just pop this and you're gonna be fine. However, we are not done here. You may notice that I've had this MK1 weapon over here for a very long time with the Fixa of Bandai level 1. Now, you cannot transfer this Fixa from the MK1 onto your regular Rayar katana. However, what you can do is you can use this as fodder to enhance your Fixa over here. So we're going to go over to the item trade or the item recycle, and we're actually going to pick up some of these add preset skills. You are limited to 3 per week. However, you can keep picking them up after every single week, and it's guaranteed to add a Fixa onto your weapons or your armors. So we're going to head over here to the item lab, and we're going to go to enhance preset skills, and we're going to click on our Rayar weapon. Once you click on it, you're going to get this pop-up. You have a support item that will allow you to save material items. Do you want to use the support item? So you're going to click yes, and right here you're going to go under item preservers, and you're going to click on add preset skills 1. And you can see add random level 1 enhancement 100%. So it's a 100% chance that it's going to add a random Fixa. So we're going to click yes, and we're going to hope that we get Fixa Fatale because that is the one that I want. However, any Fixa is going to be fine. We got Unwix, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. However, the thing that I want to emphasize right now is you cannot re-roll this Fixa. So you've got the Fixa on Wix, right? So let's say you want to use the add preset skills level 1 to re-roll the level 1 Fixa over here. It does not work. We can come over here. I go to enhance preset skills. I click on our Rayar weapon. You can see it does not pop up. It does not give me that little notification saying that I've got a consumable that I can use. Let's go on my Flugelguard weapon. You can see this pop up right here. Confirm support item use. I do not get this option. And the reason for this is because you cannot re-roll level 1 Fixas with that consumable, so it really does suck a little bit. However, what you can do if you get the right Fixa is you can use the MK1 weapons as fodder. So instead of getting another Rayar weapon with a Fixa on it, you can just pick up the MK1 weapons with your Arcs record badges and just throw in a random Fixa onto it and use it as fodder to upgrade your current Fixa. So you can see over here that I'm using my MK1 weapon as fodder to give me a chance to upgrade my Fixa on Wix level 1 to a Fixa on Wix level 2. And this is something that you can do every single week because you are guaranteed 3 preset skills level 1s every single week. You can simply exchange it, so you'll be able to try this over and over and over and keep making a bunch of MK1 weapons with Fixa 1s in order to upgrade your weapon. And again, you can smash your MK1 weapons with their Fixas together to try to get a Fixa 2 if you wanted to upgrade your Fixa 2 weapon, so forth and so on. Now, to sate my own curiosity, we are going to go to transfer preset skills over here, and we're going to see if we click on the rare katana. You can see this one has unwixed, right? But this one has a bandak. Can I transfer the bandak onto this weapon? And as you can see, when I click on it, it does not show up. So you cannot transfer Fixas between the rare weapons as well as the rare MK1s. These are considered different weapons. However, you can use them in order to upgrade your Fixa. So through the enhanced preset skills, as I can showcase again, click on the rare katana, you can use the MK1 as fodder to try to upgrade your current Fixa. Okay, so now that we have a level 1 Fixa on our rare katana, but it's not the one that we want, how do we fix this issue? It's actually very simple. All you need to do is simply get another rare katana, whether you get one from a drop or you get another one from the exchange shop, and then what you're going to do is you're going to use the consumable to add a random level 1 Fixa onto it until you get one that you like. Then once you get one that you like, you're simply going to go to transfer preset skills over here, and since I have multiple of the Elena armors, I'll show you right here. Let's say, for example, I do not want Fixa Increnza level 2 and I actually want the Fixa Orxis. What I can do is I can click on my base item over here, so the Fixa 2, and then I can use the piece with the actual Fixa that I want as fodder, and when I click yes over here, you're going to see that I can actually select which Fixa that I want, and this will actually be transferred over to my main piece of armor or my main weapon. So you can still do that in order to fix your Fixa, so that is very, very useful. So in conclusion, the average player should be looking at about 4,075 battle power if they are to use all of the new gear, so that is the new Elena armors as well as the new rare weapon, and they decide to use all of the LC capsules. Now do keep in mind that your battle power will be a little bit lower if you don't use the Spirit Trippable and if you just use the regular stat 4. However, nevertheless, your potency is still going to be the same. You're going to be looking at 143% potency. Now for the sake of comparison, if we were to use my fully min-max gear that I built a couple months back, I have 4,093 battle power, and if we look at my character information over here, I have 161% potency. However, again, I want to reiterate that I did spend a hefty chunk of money in order to make all of these armors and weapons, especially since I am using the fully fledged min-max augments. The only thing that I'm missing here is of course Lux Hal Finale, but nevertheless, these are incredibly expensive augments, and I did spend over 100 million Meseta to fully augment all of these, versus the Elena armors as well as the rare weapon over here. I spent less than 10 million, maybe even less than 5 million Meseta in order to fully enhance and fully augment everything. So the main takeaway over here is you can get away with incredibly budget gear and you're still gonna be okay. However, what I do recommend is that you do a mix. You don't need to go fully min-max over here with all these crazy augments. However, I do recommend a healthy balance between trying to achieve min-max versus the most budget gear with the LC capsules. So what I would recommend is maybe you start working on one piece of armor over here where instead of having the regular LC capsules, you try upgrading each of these into the normal variants. So instead of having Gladius Soul LC, you try to farm up enough Gladius Souls in order to exchange this LC capsule into a regular Gladius Soul, the Gigas Mastes, the Hal Finales, especially the Hal Finales. I think this is relatively easy to get since you can now exchange for 2.5 of these every single week. So you just wait a couple of weeks and you're guaranteed to get Hal Finale on your first piece of gear. Grand Dreadkeeper, the regular one, isn't that difficult to get as well, and the prices have gone down a little bit. You know, just slowly work on all of these augments and try to convert them from the LC variants into the regular variants, one piece at a time, and you will see a huge increase in your damage slowly but surely. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.